Millions of drivers travel to these high-altitude destinations every year, seeking out the world's most spectacular, untouched landscapes. Travelers often confuse highly curated drone footage with the brutal, unyielding physical environment they will actually encounter behind the wheel. Approaching a lethal wilderness highway with the mindset of a casual tourist has immediate consequences, as even a minor distraction can lead to a total loss of control. Surviving these infamous routes requires a driver to correctly assess the specific type of danger a road presents before they ever turn the key. This chart tracks the 4 variables that define road risk: environmental volatility, geographical isolation, infrastructure quality, and traffic distraction. These variables interact to create distinct profiles. A crowded mountain pass and a desert Arctic tundra generate completely different risk maps, requiring entirely different safety protocols. Reliable trip planning requires discarding arbitrary top 10 rankings in favor of a 3-tier system that categorizes roads by the specific preparation they demand. Ultimately, extreme terrain exposes any lack of driver preparation, making risk assessment the most critical tool for survival. Tier 1 routes feature high traffic distraction and provide an incredibly narrow margin for human error. On Hawaii's Hana Highway, drivers navigate a relentless sequence of narrow bridges and blind curves on rain-slicked pavement. Lush tropical scenery often fatally distracts inexperienced drivers, who are already struggling to handle standard rental cars in these wet, tight conditions. Italy's Stelvio Pass presents a different challenge, requiring drivers to navigate the massive scale and dizzying density of its famous hairpin turns. Successfully descending this valley demands sustained mental concentration and precise, aggressive local traffic. In New Zealand, Skipper's Canyon tests spatial awareness. These historic, unpaved ledges provide 0 guardrails and no room to maneuver around oncoming vehicles. Drivers pay for access to these world-class views with absolute unbroken attention to a chaotic and high-traffic environment. In Tier 2, raw mountain terrain and failing infrastructure dictate your movement. Reaching your destination safely depends on timing over vehicle choice. China's Guoliang Tunnel is an extreme example of non-standard infrastructure. The road was carved directly through a vertical cliff face, removing all potential escape routes. Navigating these tight, carved corridors takes a heavy psychological toll, as avoiding a collision with oncoming traffic requires millimeter precision driving. High-altitude routes like India's Zoji La Pass often lack stable pavement entirely, forcing massive, overloaded trucks to struggle for traction on crumbling, muddy paths. Sudden environmental volatility poses the greatest threat. Thick fog or heavy rain can roll over a ridge in seconds, instantly dropping visibility to 0. These rapid shifts in weather turn a standard journey into a forced survival waiting game on a completely exposed cliffside. Navigating Tier 2 requires you to yield your entire itinerary to nature. If you cannot afford the time to wait out a storm, you lack the capacity to drive the road. Tier 3 represents the ultimate expedition test. These remote regions demand specialized vehicle modifications and robust survival logistics. The Karakoram Highway traverses the highest mountain ranges on Earth, where the road is dwarfed by the massive scale of the arid, rocky valley. Geographical isolation becomes the primary threat on these routes, as any mechanical failure leaves the driver entirely without external assistance. Alaska's Dalton Highway combines this isolation with lethal cold. It's an endless, lonely track through a barren snowscape where services are hundreds of miles apart. Drivers must maintain their lane during low-visibility whiteouts while sharing the slick gravel road with heavy industrial trucks emerging from the snow. Bolivia's North Yungas Road is the apex of this tier. It features extreme isolation, failing infrastructure, and massive vertical drops directly adjacent to the tires. Because of the distance from civilization, a flat tire or a stalled engine in these regions constitutes an immediate, life-threatening emergency. Use this decision matrix to determine which class of road you are prepared to tackle. The assessment begins with your primary goal. First, evaluate your hardware. Decide if your vehicle is a standard commuter car or a customized 4x4 capable of self-recovery. Next, define your motive. Determine if you are seeking scenic photography or an endurance and survival challenge. If you are seeking views in a standard vehicle, stick to Tier 1. You must accept congestion and adopt an ultra-defensive driving mindset to stay safe. Tier 3 is accessible exclusively to those whose communication gear and survival logistics are as robust as their engine. Danger is a solvable equation, mitigated through disciplined preparation and an honest assessment of your own driving skills. Matching your personal capability to the terrain allows you to navigate these intimidating environments with the discipline required to reach the destination safely.